Welcome back to another episode of the House Husband Diaries. As always, I am your host, Carter C., and today I am going to share about my first hike to Springer Mountain, the approach trail to the Appalachian Trail. Now, to cut to the chase, if you don't want to watch any more than the first 30-40 seconds of this video, what I learned and what this video is about is you can do something that you never thought about doing if you simply try or put your mind to it. And that's really it. That's what I learned when my buddy asked me if I wanted to try to just go hike the approach trail to the Appalachian Trail, which is about 8.5, 9 miles from Amicalola Falls State Park, Georgia, to Springer Mountain, and camp up on Springer Mountain at the Springer Mountain Shelter, which is a little past the peak, the summit of Springer Mountain, and then come back the next day. And this was in February of 2021. It's supposed to be a pretty cold night, around freezing. It ended up getting much colder than that. I don't think we had the right place for our weather, where what we were trying to do. But really, what this video is about is my experience. The experience is silly and funny. If you watch my previous video on my gear loadout, I brought 3 sets of clothing. I would say 3 outfits, but I know that seems kind of gay, and that doesn't mean that this is like anti-gay. That's not it. It just sounds very feminine for me to say outfits, but that's what they were. It's what they are. So I brought 3 outfits for my first camping trip, and I used every single one of them. So, for all of you hiking snobs out there, I used everything that I brought, and it kept me warm in crazy low temperatures. But at the end of the day, what I learned was that I could tweak, some things. Obviously, I could wait a month or two for it to be much warmer and bring less clothing. But basically, as a 40-year-old, 6'1", 195-pound guy, I could strap 40 pounds to my back and I could hike 9 miles or so up a mountain and camp in below freezing temperatures and survive, and have a decent time and not be completely frozen out and not be in a terrible situation. So I think that was kind of, if you're done watching my videos, really what I want to express through all of this is try something new. You might be able to accomplish more than you ever thought possible. And the only way to do that is to kind of stretch your boundaries and to say yes when somebody offers you a quote unquote opportunity or the idea of maybe doing something different that you're not prepared for. Don't wait till you're prepared. Don't say, oh, well, I haven't worked out, I haven't trained for this, I haven't done whatever. Just try it. It's gonna suck. There's gonna be some suffering, but you may find some joy in that suffering and some meaning and some purpose, and you may find that helps you out in life. At least that has been my experience. So that's why I make these videos. So to go back to the beginning, as I've said in a couple other previous videos, which, by the way, before I get started, today's drink of choice is Bit Belga. I said in one of my previous videos that I would try to, one of my 40 for 40 goals is to gain proficiency in the German language. My wife is German, and she's American, but she's also German. And so I, from time to time, I get German beers, and I like to have partake in my wife's heritage through their beer, because Germans are known for their beer. So cheers to Bitburger and to Pils. not bad. But yeah, so first hike, pandemic, crazy world, almost a year. It's 11 months after the shutdowns in March. It was February of 2021. And I just said, hey, I wanted to go see a buddy of mine that I hadn't seen in a while. And maybe one of these days his artwork will make it on my channel. I'll do a video about that. He does some really cool stuff with wood. So he spends a lot of time out in forests. He knows the rules about where he can find fallen wood and take it out, whether it's national parks or state parks or yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so he goes out and he spends a lot of time in the woods and hiking and does a lot of cool stuff with wood in terms of his art. And so I wanted to go say hey. I hadn't seen him in almost a year, and he said, hey, let's go. What do you think about spending a night on Springer Mountain? You've talked about hiking the Appalachian Trail in your younger years, and this would just be the approach trail. It's not even really technically the Appalachian Trail, but let's just do it. And what do you think? And I said, you know what, that sounds like a great idea. It's terrible. It's February, so it's terrible timing. It's completely freezing and cold, but let's just try. And I said yes, because why say no, right? We've said no for a year with the pandemic. We've said no to everything. We don't do anything. We don't travel. And I was tired of saying no. And so I said yes. I said, let's go. I don't know the first thing really about camping, tying knots, you know. I'm fairly good with my hands. I can fix things. I can do whatever. Like generally I'm okay, but I'm not like your prototypical beard wearing, craft brew drinking hiker. And so I was like, all right, well, let's just try. Let's just see. And so kind of the quick rundown is we brought a 3-season tent for the 4th season to hike or to camp in sub-freezing temperatures. I don't know what a 4-season tent is like. I've never slept in one. I mean, I don't know that I've ever been in one. I mean, maybe like a canvas tent would be considered a 4-season tent, like I did in Boy Scouts 30 years ago. But in terms of backpacking, camping, I only know 3-season tents. I don't really know what a 4-season tent is. I haven't seen one of them set up. Nobody really uses one. We were out there in a 3-season tent. It got freezing, icicles everywhere, where water was coming out of rocks that was just frozen. So, we show up, and I have to say this, and I want to put this on video, right? Because, so this shows right here. So this is my parking pass. I don't know if y'all can see that. That's my parking pass for Springer Mountain, February 20th and 21st, car permit for Springer from the Amicalola Falls State Park and Georgia State Parks for February 21st. So I parked my sweet little car down at Amicalola with the other through hikers, I guess, or overnight hikers out on that dirt road, and then we put on our packs and we hiked to the visitor center and then on through up the stairs, and I didn't know anything about what I was getting into. So as I mentioned earlier, in another video, we hiked up all those 600 plus stairs, which you can't do right now because of the rain and water washed some of it out or something. I don't really know. I didn't really know anything about tents. I didn't know there was such a thing as a 3-season tent or a 4-season tent. I just assumed my buddy knew and was experienced, and so he would bring the appropriate equipment. I was not wrong, but I learned that maybe you shouldn't trust 100% when you don't know. So, he had a 4-season tent that he decided not to bring due to weight, which what's a pound or two more. But I really, how much warmer is a 4-season tent than a 3-season tent? I have no idea. What I do know is that a 3-season tent, when it gets below freezing, like single digit wind chill, it is so cold in that tent. I mean, it's so cold. I wore I don't know. I've got that toboggan somewhere down under there, but man, I was cold. My body was warm, wearing jogging pants, a t-shirt, and a long sleeve t-shirt, all cotton. Thank you, professional hikers, and then a wool toboggan, and like body was fine, but definitely face was cold, wherever that air hits. And I will say this for uh, having had future hiking experience now that I'm making these videos, even when the nights are in the 40s and 50s, the face is still cooler because it's out and it's getting that cool air. I mean, if you have your air conditioning on at say 68 at night, it's cool. It's 68, but it's 10 or 15 degrees colder, 20 degrees colder if it's 48, 52, 53, whatever, outside. And so it's a good bit cooler when you're in your tent. And a winter hat, a toboggan, beanie, whatever you want to call it, is a good play, regardless of what the temperature is. And I think it was you know as I've spent time camping over the months, and you'll hear about this in future videos, but uh, I mean that night was so cold, and I mean you had to have had something on your head. It just 100%. There's no way. I think you could have had a semi-comfortable night in such a cold environment. So as I said in the last video, I brought my 15-year-old, 16-year-old backpack, LL Bean backpack, and I didn't know what to bring, so I brought all of these clothes, which I went through. I have, and I didn't know this at the time, so I also bought I believe it was along with that backpack, a 25 degree REI brand sleeping bag. But I didn't know. I just had it in a guest closet. I haven't used it in years and years and years. And maybe I bought it for like my 2009, 8 or 9 trip to Costa Rica, not my 2005 trip to Costa Rica. But either way, I thought it was a warmer sleeping bag. But it's not. It's 25 degrees. And if I had known that I had that rated bag, that's what I would have brought that night. Would I have been warm in it? I don't know. Then that would have been fun to see if that bag would make it. But I slept in my buddy's, super cold rated 0 degree bag, super heavy, and everything was fine. So not having been on a backpacking, hiking, overnight camping trip, I just didn't know what to bring. So my buddy provided me the sleeping pad and the sleeping bag, the tent, the water filtration system. He had a pump. I didn't really know anything, I just like bring water, The few camping trips I went on in Boy Scouts, we just drive basically to the campsite, and you've got 15 or 20 folks, and everybody just takes trips back and forth to the trucks or the vans and stuff. So I'd never really experienced, like, what does that mean to have a water filtration system? My buddy had the hand pump, and I'll tell you this right now, I'll do gear reviews in the future, but man, that hand pump sucks. It's terrible, especially when it's freezing, sub-freezing, winds blowing, ice is everywhere. Man, your fingers will freeze. I thought that was the closest I ever came to what I would think of as frostbite, was hand pumping 3 liters of water, 4 liters of water out of this hand pump in this mountain stream on top of Springer Mountain, February 21st, that morning. Oh my God, it was so cold. And I just sat there trying to get us water. Was it enough water, too much water, what do we need? I don't know, but the newer filtration systems, the Sawyer and the Catadine, way better. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know anything as far as water filtration. I didn't know that we had to do a bear bag, hang a bear bag. I had no idea. Like, I was just, whatever, put it in your pack and do whatever. And, so my buddy showed me how to hang a bear bag. And, finding a tent site, how to prepare a tent site. And I'll do videos on all of this stuff, later on. But these were all things that I just didn't know. I didn't know what I needed. I didn't know what clothes to wear. I didn't know how to, find an appropriate tent site, how to prep it, how to set up a tent, how to hang a bear bag. I didn't know anything. I didn't know that personally I could hike 10 miles and with a 40-pound pack or 35-pound pack successfully and not injure myself. And so I think, like I said at the beginning, I know I'm getting a little wordy and we're getting on, but I think the whole point of this video is just to say there's a lot of things that we don't know about ourselves. And I'll share pictures and videos as we move forward in this video series. But there's a certain amount of unknown and uncertainty around life. And one of the things that's hard to do is when you're unsure or you don't think you're ready for something, is to say yes, is to say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for an adventure. And it might suck terribly. I might be woefully underprepared. I could do a better job next time, but I'm going to do it this time and I'm going to learn from it, and then I'm going to do again next time and do it better. And I think it's the same thing with these videos. You'll see the editing gets better. You'll see video. You'll see pictures. You'll see different cameras. You'll see different lighting. But right now, we're just doing it. We're saying yes, and we're having an experience, and we're learning from it. And so when we look back or step back and we look at life in the COVID times in 2020, 2021, and we put it in the framework of 40 for 40 and goals of what to do and accomplish, in life, I would say that, my first experience, my first hike of what got me on this trail, quote unquote trail, right, to section hike the AT and do all of these things in my 40s was just saying yes in my ignorance and then surviving and learning and getting better next time. So I'll leave you with that little bit of advice. Thanks so much for watching this episode of the House Husband Diaries. Until next time, hope you have a great day, night, morning, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you on the next episode of the House Husband Diaries.